Hey guys, this is Dave from my Vanguard here with another deck profile for you guys. I do have a little funny story how I got the deck. Honestly, I was at the point where Japanese format was kind of getting boring too because Legion wasn't a long format, and I was just waiting for the new format, which was I guess G generation G Stride. And then randomly online, I actually saw this deck for going for $100 or around somewhat around that range. I was like, hey, why not? And then apparently I sold like other decks and I had some money to spare on, so I decided, hey, I never tried Kagero's like Nouvelle itself, so might as well try this deck. And that's how I got the deck, and finally did complete it, so I will reveal the deck profile to you guys. As a starter, I am running the Red Pulse. I am not running Conroe because it is banned from the starter. It's not banned, but I guess you cannot use it as a starter for Kageros. But Red Pulse actually does its job. Red Pulse is a grade 3 searcher, Counterblast 1, put it in the soul. Look at the top 5, if there's a grade 3 or higher, you can put it to your hand. So basically you can put anything that's higher than a 3, so you can put a Nouvelle in your hand also. And then, of course, I do run the one Conroe because of the fact that it can search for anything in the deck. Of course, it can search for the Nouvelle Searcher, Gojos, even Calamity Tower, Wyvern, the perfect cards. Of course, most likely, I usually do search for the perfect cards, but depending on the situation, that if I need an extra card, I do search for the Calamity Tower sometimes at the situation. Going to the grade 3 lineup, I am running 2 Dauntless Drive Dragons. For those of you guys that don't know what it does, if I break ride, I can restand the Vanguard after the first, if it hasn't restanded. So basically, after the first attack, I'll discard 3 cards and restand Nouvelle. Nouvelle basically lets the opponent not guard with any zeros. So it does actually help re-attacking with Dauntless Drive's effect. I think it's really effective because it is attacking for 23 health at the least. Honestly, for Legion and G-Strike format, I don't know how effective Dauntless will be, but I think Dauntless has always been a very solid card for Kageros, just because of the fact it can restand the Vanguard and make it attack twice. And Kageros usually have powerful units that are very effective, so I think Dauntless is still very effective in any format. I do run the two Cruel Dragons just because of the fact, one, I usually retire the opponent's starter, so I can get into the grade 3 faster, and then I can get into Nouvelle the next turn, which I think is very effective because of the fact that people Legion now. So just to attack faster, I think Cruel Dragon is very effective. Of course, I would actually replace the other Cruel Dragon for maybe a Dragonic Overlord, Break Ride, or Dauntless Drive Dragon, but for now, I do run the 2 Cruel Dragons. It has been working fine. It does create a little early game, but I think that for this kind of deck, I think late game is a better way to play the game. And then, of course, I do run the 4 main cards, which is Transcendence Dragon, Dragonic Nouvelle, Vogue. For those guys that don't know what Nouvelle is, it's actually one of the most broken cards I picked in the current or any format in general. It has a limit break effect where it can Counterblast 3, Soul Blast 3, and if you have the same card in your hand, you can discard it and blow up the field. Well, that's actually just an extra effect that isn't really, I mean, it is pretty broke, but it's not that broken compared to the other effects that I'm about to reveal. Alright, on your turn, the opponent cannot, and any triggers on my turn, the opponent's triggers are nullified. So basically, 6 damage heal triggers are nullified. Let's just put it at that. And then the opponent cannot guard with zeros, and then when this card is on the rear guard, it gets minus 1. So it's a 12k attacker on the rear guard. But usually the main thing is that you attack with it. It's a Silent Tom that can attack, and then any triggers are nullified. So basically you just do a Nouvelle beatdown until the opponent's pretty much beat down to death. Going to the grade 2 lineups, I am running 2 Nouvelle Crit Dragons. Effect is, if you have a Nouvelle in your hand, you can Counterblast 1 and retires a card in the opponent's field, which I think it's really good, just in general, because it's only worth of Counterblast 1, what Berserk Dragon does basically, but it's only one Counterblast, so you can actually save Counterblast to do other things for your deck. And then I do run the 4 Velocity Dragons because of the fact that I do need to unflip some damage, just because I want to use Nouvelle's effect or use any of cards that use Counterblast in the deck. Of course, Gatling Gun is always in the option too. And then I do run the 2 Berserk Dragons just because that this needs a Nouvelle in the hand, and this is just any time, and just to get rid of rear guards early, and just to try to pull a Crow Dragon on the opponent when I can. The grade 1, I am running 2 Calamity Tower Dragons because of the fact that it's a pretty solid card. Just get rid of the soul and draw an extra card. I think that's always good. So I only do run 2 because of the fact that it's only a 5k booster, and I think the draw power is enough for this deck. I run the 4 perfect cards, obviously. They have 3 kind of perfect cards, but I decided to pick Maria because it was in the set, and that's what I got in the trade. And then I run the 4, the other Nouvelle Searcher card. When this is placed on the Vanguard or the rearguard circle, if you show a Nouvelle to the opponent, you can search for a grade 3 of your choice. And usually I'll go for a Dauntless Drive Dragon if possible. And then I do run the 4 Dragon Monk Gojos just because of the fact that I can filter cards from my hand, because I want to have a perfect ride, and that's the point of this deck. You don't want to grade miss or get grade suck in any other way. So I think Gojo is a really good choice. And of course the trigger lineups is 8 crits, 4 draws, 4 heals. Of course the draw trigger, you do want Gatling Gun just because of the fact that you want to pull a Crow Dragon on the opponent. Counterblast 1, put in the soul, retire any card that's a 0. So basically it kills starters. I think that's really good. So the opponent can't attack you and try to rush you down. You want something that will give them a threat and just say, hey, don't rush me because I'm just going to retire your units. Of course, tournament results, I think this is actually a very, it's not easy to play, but it does give you a little easier wins. It does have a higher win ratio in my opinion, and it's a very good deck, very solid, very accurate. Of course, there were problems that I was grade stuck once or twice out of my matches, but I mean, it does happen in any other deck, so I think this is no different from any other deck, and just running the 4 grade 4s doesn't affect the deck at all. Of course, for those of you guys that do watch other channels, you'll probably go like, hey, this looks pretty similar. Yes, it is actually it's actually the exact duplicate of Domino Pairs 21's Kagero deck. Of course, except for the 1 Crow Dragon. But I mean, I think that yes, I did actually look at his channel and did some research on my own, but of course I'm pretty sure most of you guys do researches on other decks, and for me, I thought that Domino Pairs was actually one of the better Kagero players, and I decided I'll listen to his opinion, of course. And this deck was actually the most effective deck I've seen for Nouvelle so far. So I guess I will give him credit. Make sure you guys look at the link down below to Domino Pairs 21's channel, and make sure you check out his channel. And then of course I do want to say that this deck has been very effective, so I hope you guys try this deck out, and I think Nouvelle will be very effective in the future format as well, because just the fact that this is actually one of the bigger broken cards in my opinion. So make sure you guys comment, rate, subscribe down below to I Am Vanguard, and like always, imagine the victory. I am Vanguard.